I don't know what to do with Vote, man. He's such a snowflake. So what if I don't like his flower shirts? Is it such a big deal? Just please tell me when we're live. Oh, good day to you, Colorado. Where is the logo? Okay. Good day to you, Colorado. Good evening, Europe. What the hell are you still doing up this late, Australia and China? Welcome to the Serbian Corner. It is a show in which two Serbians talk about the Nuggets for an extensive period of time every week. We are presented, as always, by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app and use the promo code DNVR when you sign up. My name is Miroslav Čuk. I've spent the last week freezing in Belgium. If you want to visit Brussels or, I don't know, Bruges or Ghent, please, for the love of God, do it in August, not in December. I am joined, as always, by my engineer brother, and I'm not talking about my actual brother who is also an engineer. It is a figure of speech, people. Voja Medic is calling again from the sunny Nebraska, I'm guessing. What up, Voja?
How's it going, Miroslav? Yeah, Vote gets a straight bullet again. It's good in Nebraska. It's a little sunny. It's still cold, but it'll be good. I had to take off the little frost off my car this morning, so all fun.
Okay. You just remember to turn on the engine and the heating before you start scrapping, because I've seen some people not doing that, and that's not a good idea. This is the episode number 37 of the Serbian Corner, with recently established segments whose names will show you how a Serbian that has never been to Colorado, and that will be me, views the rectangle state on the Rocky Mountains. You can also expect some Nuggets and general NBA trivia games and much, much more. Now, before we get to our usual segments, I have an announcement to make. I believe Jamal Murray is back. His highs are already super high. His lows are still there. But let me tell you, in his last 10 games, he is recording over 23 points, 6.7 assists, and almost 4.5 rebounds per 36 minutes on 45, 36.5, 82 shooting splits. Only the shooting numbers were slightly higher in 2020-2021 season, which was his last healthy season before this one. But his counting numbers are all higher than before, especially the assists. The inconsistency is still there, but that's not surprising for the most consistently inconsistent player of the Malone-Jokic era. Yes, he frustrates us at times, but when you average it all out, his numbers are always very similar. My hope for this season is not to get the old Jamal back. I want new and improved version of him, because I know he has that dog in him. How do you feel about Jamal's games recently?
It's great. I don't know if he's back. That's a good one. Also, the good tongue twister within consistently inconsistent reminds me of the Seventh Seal. The sentence about love, that it's perfect and it's perfect imperfections.
Yep.
The Jamal Murray stuff. I mean, I didn't realize it was that high on points. And as far as the percentages, we kind of know that after ACLs, it takes a bit of time to get back to percentages. The numbers are there, and I was rewatching the Utah game this morning on one of those condensed on NBA League Pass. We haven't seen, in the last couple of years since he got hurt, we haven't seen a player as, again, if Mike Porter, last season especially, he wasn't playing. We haven't seen two guys score 30 in the same game. We've had this twice, I think, this year. Maybe there was one maybe with Gordon scoring, but I don't know if he scored. I think one time this year was his career high was a 30, right? Which is incredible for that consistent of a player, that he hasn't scored a 30 piece before. So that just shows you what the level, how high the floor is for Jamal, that he's not. Maybe he's back, but he's not as back as he could be, and he can score a 30 piece, and he's averaging 23.5. That's really cool, and it's especially yesterday, seeing him operating that mid range, getting his shots that he's confident in shooting. He has a lot of those footwork style, off balance but really in balance shots, because he knows how to do it. And then of course the Portland game was just coming back from Dallas, basically having 7 quarters of subpar basketball, and then fourth, he's like, I'm not taking this. I have to get back to it. And so fourth quarter in Portland was just incredible compared to like 7 previous quarters. So that was really fun to see. So I hope he's back at least to get to that 18 a game all the time. Like, it doesn't have to be 25, but for now, at least, like, if he doesn't fall under 18, I'll be happy.
One thing outside of his, averages that he's showing right now, one thing that really gives me a lot of confidence is the way he's now playing, which seems much more reckless than what it used to be 10 games ago. He, seemed to be a bit afraid to get into some scary contacts and stuff like that. And, it's not easy for my stomach to watch him run into 3 guys. It's really hard for me. But I know this is him and this is what he needs to be. So this is why we love him. This is why he is such a great player. That's one of the traits of his playing skills. So yes, this is what shows me that he is almost or maybe completely out of his head about it's just about the playing condition right now. And I think this stretch of like 6 weeks playing mostly at home should really help him get his feet under him and be even better in the coming months.
Yeah, you're right. We've seen him. When you said about him, going into players and being more confident, basically reckless, as you say, not in a bad way, in a good way. We talked about that OKC game when he kind of pulled it out for the Nuggets, but that was just like one spike, and then he would come back to down to earth of like I'm a little cautious, and then would have a moment of flashes of good, and then back. This is like he's starting. Hopefully, this whole game, and then the Portland game. It seems like maybe he's breaking through, and then we'll see against Washington. But again, talking about the consistency of not like overthinking those moves, just like, hey, I'm gonna do this. This is my, I'm there, and that's what we want to see. Not to so it's not a situation of like, oh, I have to, and it gets to like back against the wall, so he has to do these things. But like he can do these things all the time, and that's really that's really cool. That's a good question. We have a question. Would you rather see Jokic win a championship this year or another MVP? I mean, it's the championship always.
Zero doubt. I'm so gonna enjoy him actually being an MVP that doesn't get it. It will be just a sweet victory for me. But on the other hand, I don't care about that at all. He can average for as far as I am concerned, like 12, 8, and 5 for the rest of the season. Let's just get that first Larry O'Brien in Denver.
I don't mind if everyone says he's getting carried by Jamal Murray. Like, let's just win it.
Yeah,
just win the title.
I kind of think the NBA is smarter now. I don't know who gives the finals MVP trophy. I have to check that because we had those Iguodala and Tony Parker finals MVPs that didn't make any sense in the last 10 years or so. So I kind of think we're
still people
media.
Yeah.
I believe media is.
That was 2019 Kawhi. Kawhi got that MVP, and Hubie Brown was the only one that voted for Fred VanVleet. Which, to be honest, there was a lot of argument there, but yeah, it's kind of similar to MVP voting, just not as broad, I think.
Yeah, I believe media is much smarter than it used to be, but we'll see. Let's have this unpleasant discussion of whether Jamal or Nikola should get the MVP. I'm super excited.
That would be a great debate. Like who's the finals MVP?
Okay, let's start with our segments. The first segment, as always, Mile High Positivity. It is a segment about what we were the most high or optimistic about last week. Sometimes it is a full game or an individual performance or whatever we found very exciting for us. So let's start with Christian Braun. I know it looks like a hipster pick to start the show with Braun after I started with Vlatko last week, but I can't help it. We were among many who cried Christian needs to play, but still, after seeing him back in action, I feel he is even exceeding the expectations of us believers. Voja, you even went as far to say that Christian Braun can become a defensive playmaker. for this team, even before all the veteran defenders Calvin Booth brought this summer. Brown was good against Dallas, but I think he was great versus Portland when he recorded 3 offensive rebounds and some big buckets. I didn't see anything bad in his game versus Utah as well. So these are the 3 games he actually got the chance to play in. He is not generating steals or blocks, but we well know how hard is it to quantify defense using the box score numbers. He was hounding his guys, but also making razor-sharp rotations on defense. It warmed my heart, really. So 20 minutes per game looks like a given right now. I hope it stays like that, for a prolonged period of time. Do you have any updated thoughts on Christian?
Nothing like too flashy. There's a few notes. So basically, I agree. Like you kind of see the Hawks and Pelicans were kind of games that we didn't really have a chance to play, and we see Hawks that was just a weird game to lose, and then Pelicans are just on a roll. As far as Brown, so there's this point, the point of not emphasis, just like a data point that I think when he plays more than 20 minutes, they're 7-0. When Christian Brown's played more than 20 minutes, and he played 25 yesterday. So I think they were 6-0.
7-1 when he plays over 20, and like 5-0 when he plays over 24 or something like that.
Okay, so maybe that's maybe that
great.
Okay, maybe that was the Dallas game that he played and they lost like barely. But the point is, like, they kind of the point of my defensive playmaker is kind of what it showed in the Portland game. You said like Dallas game was also good, but the Portland game was really, really well done, and especially you could see the shifts in some of the moments in the second unit when they were coming back on that deficit of 10 points, where you have like it's just little things with him. That's the point. We're not saying okay he should start and he's just like a all defensive player, like just little like okay offensive rebound, or like comes in and just slaps the ball away off of a defender off of the let's say Portland guy. And even if we don't get the offensive rebound, at least they have to work to get the defensive rebound, and they can't really push the transition after that like hustle that he makes. And then he had a few really like tough layups. Then he had an offensive rebound in the second half, that fourth quarter put back, and then he stayed on for a bit with Bones on the with the half starters until the full starting unit came back and closed that game out against Portland. So there is a lot of optimism there to see like why he's playing and the reason why he's playing. And then we've hyped up Vlatko, and we did, as a power forward in my eyes. Like I would want him, if he play on that position. And they tried Vlatko in the last few games before Utah to put him in this first half. He would come in, but he would come in with DeAndre Jordan, with Jeff Green, and that just didn't work. Like Vlatko isn't a 3. Like yes, he guarded SGA, but not. That doesn't mean he should be out there like playing a small forward. So. That's why Christian Brown comes in, and then it's a little bit of a different story. So I think that's what happened yesterday. I have to say, like, yes, we hype him. Yesterday, he did have some rough moments. He bought, he's enthusiastic. Like again, wants to be a defensive playmaker, I believe. So he bid on a lot of pump fakes. Some closeouts are a little iffy at some points. Like not like terrible, but there were, especially against Utah, where it's like 5 out and they're all swinging the ball. You have to be really disciplined in those situations. And then just on the switch right now, Kelly Olynyk just destroyed him a few times. Like it was kind of like obvious. It was like the white on white crime. Kelly Olynyk just like plowed through him. And again, it's a switch. Kelly Olynyk is bigger, but that's like the next step for him too, to like kind of keep it together if it ends up being a switch on a bigger guy. So those are like the just the notes. But otherwise, like I really like that. He's getting more confident. He tried to really dunk over 2 guys yesterday. He lost the ball, it got blocked, but it was Kessler that was there. But he still tried, so it was really impressive that he even.
I really like the fact that he's trying hard to dunk, to get all the way to the cup, because we need him to do that. It's just the experience that will help him, get swatted a little less than he is right now. But I'm glad he's fearless, and that's a really big part of his future offensive contribution on the team. For sure. I have to hop on one thing that you said about Vlatko, about him playing with DJ and Jeff. And you remember, I said that's an idea that Michael Malone will like to do last week. And
Yeah, I think,
the
we
thing
both said
is,
no.
I know Michael Malone listens to this show, and I appreciate that. But on the other hand, Michael, listen to the end of the segment. I also said that's not a good idea.
Yeah, I think we
Please,
both agreed there. Yeah.
please put another guard
Well,
in that Vlatko lineup.
because it just puts Vlatko in a bad position. Like, and then you see him like trending on Twitter, and people are complaining about him having minutes and like, get him out of there, that kind of stuff. He's out of position. It's not what he should be playing. And I see some comments that thoughts about Malone and rotations and stuff. I wanna say just watch last week's episode because we've had a really big segment about that and like a really negative, in like a critical way. We talked about Malone and some of his decisions. So I wouldn't want to just repeat after every week. That still stands partially. So check that last episode out for more details. And so right now, so far, like, yes, he implemented Brown, which we talked about. That was good. Jeff Green is back. We kind of expected Wildcat to be out when Jeff Green is back. We kind of laughed about it. And still Jordan is playing, which is still I don't like. But again, at this point, it's kind of like we kind of have to throw our hands up and just it is what it is. Like it doesn't make sense to just talk every week about why are we playing DeAndre Jordan, especially when if they're winning and he's not like I still maintain that he's getting blown out by all these other centers, but again, I don't want to just repeat every week the same thing.
I like DeAndre Jordan as a guy. I mean, from the outside, I have no idea what kind of person he is, but I like his influence on the team, on the locker room. But yes, I agree. In most of the games, it's not super smart to use him as a backup five.
I mean, Drew Eubanks was like flying out there. I was saying he's just like an all-star, center. To be fair, he did also posterize Rudy Gobert yesterday, so maybe that wasn't like all on Jordan. Maybe Eubanks is just playing well, in the last few games. But yeah, that was my point. Just like try matchups and stuff, and see where we go. So that's
yes.
Again, like we'll see. I have a question. Is Malone getting better or worse? Again, jury's still out. We'll see. Like he's Malone right now. Like I would say, he's what we kind of expected him to be, and what he's always been right now.
Yes, maybe if I want to look at the glass half empty, I will say that Malone is what he is, and he's not improving a lot. But I might be wrong. I mean, he might blow us completely in the.
Well, I mean, he did. Last year he did implement Bones. He's still trusting him, even though Bones is not playing well with some of the defensive possessions. But he's still out there, and he's trusting him with Jamal on the floor, and he's getting the Bones is getting ball in his hands with Jamal on the court. That kind of stuff that I wasn't expecting to happen. Like that kind of trust in Bones is really cool, especially after benching him, and probably Bones wasn't happy, and he shouldn't be happy about it. No player should be content with being benched. Like that's kind of like that's your signal to do better, to be better. So. That's basically my thoughts right now. We'll get back on that eventually when we get through this like home period to see what happens. Any closing thoughts on Brown?
Outside of what we already said, that's it. He's just showing so much skill on defense and for me enough promise on offense to because the problem is. You can have Shaq Harrison, who is a great defender, but he's a zero on offense, and that's a problem too. So I need to see this promise from Christian Brown, and I saw it. So I'm really content for him with him playing more in the future. Okay, last thing for the positivity this week: Nuggets started winning again, which is I guess a good thing. Nothing spectacular, some great individual performances, yes. But how important was for them to win these last two games, even with a lackadaisical defensive effort?
This was one of my main like positivity of the week. Just any week of this season basically is they're still 16-10. It's still maybe like less than I expected, just because I thought maybe Jamal, like I was optimistic of Jamal's return physically, but this is like better than probably even they thought, especially like how the approach was. There is like a mission. If you hear these Jokic comments, there is a mission and direction to what they want to accomplish and how they want to implement this team. Again, I have irritations about defense because I really love intensity and defensive intensity, especially. So like just as my natural basketball viewing, subjectivity, I really hate it sometimes to see, but but objectively I understand what's going on. So the fact that they're winning, and this is I wrote about the Portland win, was like this is the old Nuggets we were used to. Like the team shouldn't have been in the game. It's a Utah with like even the Utah that we were doubting. Even that team had like 4 or 5 players out, and they still were on a few possessions. But compared to like other, especially last year and some of the games this year, this looked like more in control than maybe people like realize, like especially if you watch the game again, you're like, this wasn't ever in doubt. Like even when they were down by 1 in the fourth, like it's this Bones shoots from the corner. I like yesterday watching, I was trusting that shot. Jokic coming down at the end, and even he's not as clutch, like quote unquote clutch, as previous years. Like there is some misses still at the rim, which again they're not misses at the rim, they're like misses over defenders, and it's a tough shot. But he was making those at like 60-70% before. Now he's making it 55 or whatever. So it's still good, but again, it's what we used to. There's wins. I don't know if there's like you can say like, oh, there's good wins based on some of the opponents you have. Like Warriors had a good win against Celtics yesterday, but what is that good win going to do if they're still under 500 in like 20 games and they're still toiling away? It's kind of what I'm saying with the Nuggets. Like what does it matter if we win by 1 possession against Portland and Utah, and we're complaining if we win 10 more like in the last like in the next 15? So my positive is they're winning, and they don't seem to be phased by any of these like perceived inconsistencies or like deficiencies on this team. Like so that's why I kind of like that's the NBA game. Like it's the marathon, and we've heard Davon Reed yesterday, and talking with the guys, he's basically saying it's too early. It's basically the All-Star break when people find out like who they are as a team. So right now, the important thing is they're winning, and seems like they're having fun.
Also, one thing it's important to acknowledge. I'm not a Malone hater. I will always say when I see something I like. One thing Denver Nuggets, one thing Denver Nuggets bench really lacks is more good rebounders outside of DJ. If DJ doesn't have his night, the bench is really bad on rebounds. But on the other side, I get why Malone plays Aaron Gordon, like copying the minutes of Nikola Jokic so much. It's because he's such a perfect running mate next to Jokic. For instance, at that Portland game, there was this one late Jokic miss that Gordon just took and dunked it. And it's really important to get those things when you have 5 guys on the court that are starting to breathe together as one. This is when you start to get winning those games you would lose for last season for sure. So yeah, I agree. These are the old Nuggets. They're starting to look more scrappy, and we already spoke. Brandon Wood speaks about it a lot. How good Nuggets defense in 4 quarters is comparing to their defense in first 3 quarters, and that's a fact. So yeah, I guess
that's our Nuggets.
As you said, after the All-Star break, they might start playing 1 more quarter on defense, which could be good, and hopefully they can extend to even more of defensive quarters for the playoffs. Knock on wood.
Yeah, okay. I see like people say, I've seen some comments about Aaron Gordon as well, kind of echoing what you said. Glue guy and really good. I agree. Like it was, you watch the replay yesterday. Like some of he's basically that like exhaust like pressure valve for Jokic when he gets doubled, and he reads so well, and especially he's so athletic. Then if he gets a little bit of space on the cut, that's usually a dunk, and people can't. Like that was a little bit of a difference when when Millsap was there. He was still doing a lot of those reads, and Millsap was a good finisher. But once he got older, those backdoor cuts weren't as efficiently used as there are now because Gordon is just so much more athletic and finishing around the rim. So that's why those two should play together all the time, and it's pretty fun to watch, honestly.
Okay, it is time for our first break. As you've heard, we are presented, as always, by the DraftKings Sportsbook. Sportsbook. So Voja will now take the helm.
All right, this time of year, so everyone's excited about the gifts, the holiday spirit. It's Festivus time. It's Jokic time. It's Orthodox Christmas time soon. But what about all the basketball? So when I throw down on the NBA action, it's got to be with the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. So new customers can bet just $5 pregame money line on any NBA team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. So you want to bet $5 on the Nuggets to win on a money line, and then you get $150 in free bets if you do that. Plus, everyone can combine multiple bets for a bigger payout with DraftKings same game parlay. So those are you pair up a bunch of different bets in a same game line. We call those like couples in Serbia, I guess. When you played multiple players or multiple games. Basically, I've uninstalled this app. I can't bet in Nebraska because it's still illegal here. Although I see Maryland now, sports fans, so listen up. DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in your state. So Maryland is live, waiting for Nebraska to happen. So, but I installed the app, I can still have it, and it's one of the better software interface apps that I've seen. Which makes sense. You wanna be convenient when you're picking all these things. And we have an upcoming game against Washington. Of course, we're a few days away, so all the money lines, all the odds are not yet available for us. But we kind of always talk about like what we kind of think some of the bets can be placed. Right now, we're thinking maybe Jokic plus because he's playing against Porzingis. Like sometimes they show out, both of them show out against each other. So I would say maybe both of those. Look at the points on both, especially Porzingis is averaging a lot this year. And we have Jamal because there's not
Jamal
really
plus
many
points for sure.
Yeah, Jamal. There's not really many defensive players on the Wizards right now that might stop him. Unless they put Denny Avdi on him, but I still think Jamal can take him. And we've seen him play in the mid range and that can stack up a bunch of points. And then again, Kuzma Gordon matchup. You want to choose some of those guys, maybe plus on Kuzma as well.
Gordon plus
on rebounds maybe and points. Yeah, you trust Gordon against Kuzma?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So those are some of our kind of what we think maybe happens on Wednesday against Washington. So look up to those on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. So download the app now to get on the holiday hoops section. Again, Christmas is coming too, so there's going to be a bunch of nice games in prime time. Sign up with the code DNVR. Place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA team to win and get $150 in free bets if you do. So only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code DNVR. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply, so see show notes for extra details. Boom.
And we are back. Okay, next segment, I think our most popular segment based on me asking myself which segment I liked most, meeting a mountain lion on the front porch. It is a segment where we speak about what scared us or made us the most pessimistic about. And Voja, I am starting to bore myself. There must be a new phrase to use I haven't so far to describe the size of that mountain lion that represents the Nuggets defense. Maybe the coaching team would benefit, and we had a nice comment about this. Let me find it. Yeah, here it is. So maybe the coaching team would benefit from hiring or promoting from inside a new assistant who has had to prove himself with years of hard work, from an unknown guy to a respected professional. I'm not saying there are guys on the coaching team that didn't have to go through all that, but I'm also not saying that. We don't know a lot about Ryan Saunders' role on the coaching stuff, so it might be unfair to blame only him for the defensive struggles of the team. And also, this home-heavy stretch might help them jump over some defensive juggernauts like Utah, Portland, Orlando, Charlotte, or Washington, as the good guys are currently 27th in the defensive rating according to the Cleaning the Glass, and their list disregard the garbage time minutes, which is why I like it more. So I'm not satisfied by being better only than Houston, Detroit, and San Antonio, who is, by the way, doing a masterful tanking job. They're almost like at 30-30, worst offense, worst defense. I think their offense is like 28 right now, but they'll get to the 30 as well. So to describe how bad the Nuggets defense is, their defensive rating is so bad, they would need to be top 3 in the next 25 games just to climb to top 15.
Oh my God.
I'm not speaking about top 5 anymore because we like the
just
jokes
average,
on this show,
average.
but come on. There's limit to everything.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
So, I don't know. Do you see a solution outside of me, calling for heads to fall?
No, I mean, well, I don't even know if that would help either. I'm still holding out hope that it's not just about they're bad. Like, I think they have personnel. I still maintain they have the personnel to be good. It's just when to turn it on. It's hard. I mean, I was watching, the game yesterday. Like you said, they turn on when they need to. It's just that's not their it's just not their these players, not their DNA. Like, if they know they can score, it's hard to focus on defense if that's not your primary. Like, I love playing defense. Some players just, hey, I want to play defense. I don't care about like scoring 120 points. I want to like defend so they don't score 100. So if that's not if that's not in the DNA of the players on the team, you're always gonna have a situation like yesterday, like, hey, we can just score whenever we want. Like, it's not, let's play 1 or 2 defensive possessions and go. Like, again, the whole thing is get healthy to the playoffs. Like, I talked to Ogi Stojakovic in the Nuggets Serbia podcast. It was basically the same echo. It was like, hey, we got to be ready. We got to be healthy for the playoffs. And this is how you get ready. Again, like we talked about, there's a lot of talk about scheme and if Jokic should be in the drop or hedging or whatever, because we've seen them play, sometimes better defense if he jumps out on screens, and then on the back, there's a lot of, good rotations in the back end. But then that also like opens up a lot of other problems and then also just wastes Jokic's energy in a lot of regular season games that are unnecessary in some respect. So I would say like it's a lot of still communication. I would love, talked about the last week, I would love to see people talk more between themselves, just communicate. With yesterday against Utah, and they're tough to cover with their 5 out, but there was a lot of just late rotations, focusing in on what people have done. Like, it's still like, again, it's so early, like there's still issues that we kind of talked in the beginning of the season, how there will be, we kind of predicted what's going to happen, that these are new players, new guys coming back, like tendencies of different players. You have KCP and Brown that are known for busting through screens. So now it's a little bit of a different attitude than when you have Monte or Will Barton, like how to, if you let them fight over or when to switch, or, if you're late switching in the rotations, like it's just a little bit of, it takes a bit. Again, it's more, again, with Jokic, offense kind of gets ironed out, like, because he's so good, much quicker than the defensive end, because, you have to be in a string, you have to be a single-minded organism to be on the highest level. So I still think they can do well enough when the time comes. So I'll be optimistic with that. But yes, it is depressing sometimes. As I said, I love watching defense, and it's just sometimes it's annoying to watch, and it's depressing.
Cleaning the glass killed me, man. I mean, I always thought like, yeah, they're like 25th, 26th. But, the difference between the teams is not so great. So, half a point here, half a point there, and you catch up. No, it's not.
It's very bad.
It's like there's like this bottom 5, which Nuggets, are part of right now, who are by a wide margin the worst defenses. But yeah, as you said, there's still hope. Something will click, and
well, again,
actually they will begin to try more.
Yeah. because that's the thing is like I don't at the end of the year like who cares if your overall average is 15th or third or whatever, like someone can be first for 3 quarters of the season and the last quarter of the season they're last and they're still top 10, but it's you were playing bad in the worst possible time. So I'd rather them ramp up and trend up than be great now and then just drop off. Like a few years, we've seen years before they would start the season really well in the top 10 and then just crater down when it's the least desirable. So I'd rather them go just slightly up and then at the end, like when the playoffs start, be 15th for the last like month or like 10th for the last month. That's good enough sign that they can be in a rhythm. Then, averaging up being 25th in May, like for the whole season, doesn't matter. If you're in April, we're 5th. That's what we want to see. Of course, not 5th, but like 12th or whatever is acceptable for us. Like I still want it to be 5 or number 1, but that's just empty dreams.
I think the main reason why most of the analysts use this defensive rating thing as a big deal is the fact that in the last 20 seasons there was only one situation where a championship team was out of top 10 in defense, and those were like those Shaq and Kobe Lakers in one season. So I think that's the most important reason why people so much harp on the defensive rating. On the other hand, we can agree on if the Nuggets win a championship, that will be a pretty unique kind of championship with a pretty unique kind of superstar. So having said that, everything, nothing goes in a logical order when you speak about Nikola Jokic's team. So exactly. Why not win the championship with a 25th, best defense?
That would be. I mean, again, like you said it, like he's so unique and his MVP runs and everything is so unique about him. That would be like one of those like first time ever the championship win with a 25th like defense would be also something for his resume to be fun.
And led by a guy who was a 41st pick. So that makes sense. One more thing for the negativity for this season. If there's anybody that has missed last night's winner's lunge, go back and watch it. It was a great show all around. But Voja pointed out to me, before I woke up and got to see it, that Davon Reed had a great showing on the show. And when Adam casually mentioned how he feels Nikola Jokic now is finally well respected in the league, Davon was like, well, I don't know, man. And when Adam asked him to expand, he just refused. He said no comment on this. So I'm gonna let you cook on this, Voja.
Well, yeah, this is the negativity that I was still mad to hear. Also, one of those like weird, like I'm mad, but I'm also not surprised that it's still a thing. And the fact that after 2 MVPs that players in the league still think he's a fraud is just so sad to me. That like so many. Yes, like the Adam is saying in the comments from is the craziest part of the interview. Like again, me too, because he had 2 MVPs. Like there's a lot of these players coming out and saying, but again, one of those things like we were so. Miroslav is on this all the time. Ice Cave guy about like no one's congratulating him online, like even though he's not online, and we're like, well, it doesn't matter. Like he's everyone knows he's not on. It just seems like still he's not getting the respect. And it's still it could be like so many different, like we can go into like so many different reasons why. Probably the stigma of the white player, of the unathletic guy, like he's so withdrawn, like he's so enigmatic and mysterious, and doesn't engage in the frivolities of outside of the court life of an NBA superstar. And it's just, I don't know, maybe again, it's kind of weird that Bones and some of these like Jamal Murray, like they're getting more respect. Seems like online than Jokic is. Again, could be that also is building those relationships, like getting people to know you. But as far as but that's like being like, yeah, I like him. He's a friend of mine. Like to say, but respect should be earned like on the court, and that's what pissed me off when I heard that from Davon Reed. Like, not he didn't say he didn't respect him. It was just like he knows and people know that they still don't respect him around the league.
Oh, he seemed pissed about it, man.
No, yeah, exactly. It's the teammates like of Jokic are always first, like you see like whoever's played with him is like you can respect him more than they do. And people that like around the league seems just basically a lot of, for me, like right now it seems like really petty. And it's like, oh my god, I didn't win the MVP, or like, so I'm gonna trash on this other dude, and I'm not gonna respect him, or whatever the case may be. Maybe just the optics of getting cooked by a guy that looks flabby, just hurts the player's pride, so they don't want to own up that he's good. And so that's my thing, is just like as far as fans is also interesting. I've always had a problem with why people don't. There's a lot of people that don't like Jokic, is because they're just how it is sold here as basketball is. You have all these like physically alien people that are so athletic and so freakish, like Giannis and these guys. And so when you look from a average person standpoint, you're like, oh well, of course I can't play in the NBA. Like, look at him, like he jumps higher than I'm tall, and they're so muscular and full of muscles. And then you tell yourself that's why you're not succeeding in basketball in the highest level. And then you see Jokic, and it's like, oh, he's not that muscular. Like, he's strong, but like Larry Bird style strong, and he doesn't jump high. Like, he's not fast. Like, he's quick in motions, but not fast. He's not running 4.3 on a 40-yard dash, that type of stuff. And so basically then you have to accept that you're not good at basketball as much as you think, because everyone wants to believe like, oh, I'm good at basketball, I just can't jump as high, or I'm not as tall, so that's why I didn't make pro. And Jokic is telling you, it's like, you're not really as good. And you could have, if you're good, if you're talented and have that IQ and everything in your fingers as much as he does. So I think that's also like a lot of just people don't realize that that's why they don't like him. It's just that's my belief, like why people are still hesitant to like give him this credit, because he shows you that it's not just about the athleticism.
Yeah, I mean, well, one thing about it is that Jokic does spend a lot of time in the gym. It's not like lifting weights and everything. It just doesn't show because of his stature or whatever. But he's not like Jimmy Butler waking up at 2:30 in the morning to go to the
yeah, but the thing is, yeah, because he's not talking. There's not talks about it. There's not interviews about it. I see a comment like that. It's mainly the media and some players respect him. No, that's the point. Davon Reed's comment was that players don't respect him, not that that the fans and media gave him the MVP twice. That's not the problem. It's when Adam said, well, he's getting respect around the league, and Davon Reed's like, I don't know. And he's, no comment, basically. Like, this one. So that's the point. That's why we're talking about this. If it was just the fans, that wouldn't matter. But it's still the players are still late on the bandwagon. So that's my point. That's why it's my negativity of the week.
Media is so much smarter than it used to be, because it is now so well spread out. Different kind of new technologies and stuff, and players are still players, and I get it. I mean, when you know that guy you play every week on your pickup whatever termin
that's the pickup game. Yeah.
You hate that guy because you know he's better than you, but on the other hand, you're giving your best, you're doing whatever you're supposed to do to beat him, and you still cannot do it. I kind of get it. It's just so funny to me when you have all of these guys earning hundreds of millions of dollars to still be as petty. I guess it's just in the human nature, and they cannot do anything about it. I don't think it doesn't have a lot to do with him being foreign or being white or with being whatever. I think it's more of like F you, man, like put the exact same effort like I do, and then beat me, and I won't be mad about it. I don't know. It really feels like I'm pretty sure that Luka is a big media darling, bigger than Jokic, but I could also see him not being as accepted, just like Jokic. Also because he eats a lot of stuff he probably shouldn't. So that's why he's a bit chubby, even now as an MVP. Okay, Let's now make our final break, and we'll return with some more segments. Miroslav conundrum in Comic Sans. This is one of our more steady segments this season. So December 15 is around the corner, and the unofficial start to trade season is actually in 3 days. So the Nuggets obviously have defensive problems, and the rotation might need another guy to fix it a bit. I have some names in my mind, nothing sexy. Don't expect me to propose Giannis or Luka to the Nuggets while being sober. These will be the guys that should probably be available soon, and I'm going to list them from some pretty wild ones until we get to some probably more logical. So, are you ready?
Yes, I am. I'm reading the comments. Sorry.
First name for today, and I'm sorry to everybody, Facu Campazzo. So this guy is still a free agent. He hasn't found a new home in Europe, at least until the start of.
I love that you also accidentally put him in red and white on the screen.
Yeah, there is words that he could actually become a Red Star player in Belgrade. I don't think that's true, no, but it's probably a good maneuver by his agent. Okay, so I guess we both agree Facu is not the answer right now. We both love Facu, but he is not the answer.
I want to see him. I got EuroLeague TV for this month to watch Red Star, and it's awesome. As a software, it's awesome, better than League Pass. And I want to see him in Europe, man. Europe's fun, and he'll be like great. And so I'd rather see him play there for 20 minutes than 25 minutes than sit on the bench in the NBA. So that's
he's gonna crush it for sure. There is no question.
Yeah,
let's
move on. Let's move on.
Yeah. Guy number 2, Alec Burks. Okay. So what the hell is he still doing in Detroit? He has scored. He has scored. Yeah, I don't think Bojan. His contract is too big, so this is why I didn't mention him on this list. But he has scored a lot of points over there. Like 14 points in only 20 minutes per game, which is insane. 38% from the three-point line. He has a team option for next season, which is nice. You can cut him if you don't like him, or you can keep him for another year on a pretty low contract. It's not a low contract. It's a $10 million contract per year. So Nuggets would have to get rid of both Jeff and Ish to get close to that. I'm not sure how much... either of us would like that.
They want that. It's like, again, it's one of those, if you trust Vlatko at the 4, maybe. But that's the point. That's the problem,
Yeah. So we are getting a bit sexier. Okay.
All right.
Guy number 3 for today, Andre Drummond. So he is rebounding the shit out of the ball. 8 rebounds in only 14 minutes per game. He is on a 2-year, $3.2 million contract, and he would be, let's face it, a big upgrade over DJ.
So crazy.
I'm guessing DJ plus a second round.
Again, I can't believe we're going to blow on others. Like, that's the problem is, like, again, we blew 2 second rounders on McGee and not play him. And then now, like, it's an option of blowing another second rounder for Drummond. Also, I have another, like, irksome thing. Andre Drummond got 2 spots on the top 10 last night, and Jokic's pass to KCP with the tip in slapped the ball, like, didn't even get a top 10. It's so stupid. I'm so annoyed.
Yeah, maybe a former player is making those lists now, so this is why he appreciated Drummond more than Jokic. Okay, next guy. So I also agree, if you waste another couple of 2 second round picks and then Malone doesn't play him, that would be pretty painful. Number 4 for today, Goran Dragic. So there is no reason for Bulls not to blow it now. Goran is not in their future plans anyway. So why not add another good ball handler to the squad? He's also Nikola's friend. He is on a minimum. So one of our minimum guys plus a second rounder should be enough.
He and Bones together, like, oh man, this is so fun. I don't know what rotation would look like, all that defense, whatever. Just he and Bones together as as 2 ball handlers in that unit, and then you can mix and match with Murray on a few minutes a game without Jokic on the floor. Like, just I love that guy. Like, it's also this is our also bias of he's our guy, like coming through.
Nikola's friend. So this is the thing. I have an angle here. So this is a surefire thing. It only needs one thing to happen. So Nikola Jokic should personally call Arturas Karnišovas and tell him, man,
and get fined.
Listen, man. So you owe me everything. You have that job because of me. So do me a solid. Send Goran here. We'll send you a couple of second rounders, and let's just
to be fair. Also, Jokic chose Karnišovas because he brought him in here.
True. It goes both ways, but I guess this is not as crazy as the other ones. Okay, number 5, and this is a pretty popular pick, Jakob Poeltl.
Let's go.
So he is a great backup center position.
That'll be the Plumlee move, like the old Plumlee move when you get basically a starter as your backup. Again,
Jeff and Ish would both need to go in this deal, and hopefully DJ. So we clear the space for the center position, because he has a $9 million contract. Problem is, he is the unrestricted free agent next summer. So I don't think he would stick, because I think he wants to be a starter. So
I mean, he's pretty decent too. Like, it's not, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. He is a good rebounder, pretty good rim protector, good with the assists. So yeah, what more do you want from your center these days? Okay, number 6, Jimmy Butler. Butler.
We saw another comment there about
Jimmy. We saw it in the comments, and this would be an all-in move. So got to trade one of your max guys, and I'm probably not talking about Jokic
or Murray.
If the Heat blows it up, or Jimmy just plain and simple requests a trade, he might be our guy. So would you be scared about his age and his injury prowess?
I don't. That's the thing is with him is like he's not going to be the first guy on this team. Like, that's you just add like a bucket. I would love to see him, especially if it's like if Miami. I mean, there's no way. But let's say hypothetically Miami blows it up. We're playing 2K, and they're like, okay, we'll take MPJ as a project, and then we'll give you Jimmy buckets, and obviously we get something else with MPJ. I wouldn't want to be like, hey, let's package Bones and MPJ and some picks, and then get like that'd be a little too much, because then you just left with the bare bench. But him and that, next to at that small forward next to Gordon and Jokic and KCP and Jamal, like that's just, I'm salivating like thinking about it for playoffs too. Like,
this is the thing: you are not getting Jimmy from Pat Riley for Michael.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no way. So let's make a case for Jamal, who we love both.
Hell no, I'm not doing that. No.
But this is the thing: Jimmy is an all-star, and in the playoffs, he is even better than that. On the other side, Jamal is not an all-star, but we know how good he can be in the playoffs. So with Jamal being like 8 years younger and everything,
yeah. But it kind of counts for age and just we never know with his injuries as well. Like yes, playoffs he kicks in, but I don't know. Not for Jamal, honestly, right now. And that's maybe too subjective, but it is what it is.
The reason why I mentioned Jimmy here is the fact that Nuggets fans should give up the idea that we can get Jimmy for MPJ. That's the thing I want to point out here. Okay,
also last don't have guy. A lot of first round picks either to trade.
Last guy for today, and he's the best guy on the list, of course, Naz Reed. So you know how much I love this guy.
Yeah, no.
So he is on a minimum and probably won't be expensive to get, since he is an unrestricted agent next summer. So that would be a rental almost for certain. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if he's real bad on the Nuggets, maybe he would come back for a low salary. But I don't know why would Nuggets do that. So Naz Reed, I know Adam doesn't like Naz Reed. he always says that he's only like a pick and pop guy, not more than that. But I don't know, man. I've been very impressed several times when he was playing against.
Yeah, it would
Nuggets.
be really fun to get him on the team and watch him sit on the bench for the full game.
But what if he could become, like a manimal with a 3-point shot?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I'd rather you didn't put. I want Kelly Olynyk on this team. That's my guy. That's my Gonzaga dude. He's probably, I don't know how expensive he is, but that's is some kind of versatile center thing. I want him.
Yeah, Kelly Olynyk. I'm afraid Kelly Olynyk would be too expensive.
Yeah.
For this, but who knows? Yeah. Maybe Calvin Butch has something in the store. We also seen one of the comments was about Bogdan Bogdanovic. Would he be a good fit? He would be a good fit, and no, he is expensive. But if you combine him with another guy on that team, there is a viable trade out there.
Well, again, if they want to take MPJ, that's always the thing now. It kind of sucks because we have to always talk about that. Just because I hate trades, you know what I hate.
Yeah,
even especially I don't like when we see a lot of comments that are just well, they should just get Markkanen as a backup or Vucevic as a backup. I'm like, we have to be realistic. This is not 2K. They're not going to listen to what the video game says. I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm going to get all these guys and they're all going to be on the bench and they're all marginal all-stars are going to be backups. That's not how it works. So one of the reasons we do these exercises is just to see the scale of hey, if you want Jimmy Butler, it's not that easy. Just be hey, we'll give you the one that we know it's not great right now, that is injured and costs $40 million, and you give us back the guy that's great in the playoffs and has been in the finals.
Trades are tough, and fans are rarely super happy about them.
Well, also objective too when they can because I was gonna. So when you said Pirtle, right? So we were doing at Serbia last week, and one of the co-hosts, he asked me hey, well, would you do a Jakob Pirtle and Doug McDermott for MPJ? Because right now MPJ's hurt and he's basically a project and he's a max contract guy, and San Antonio can't pick up, I think, extra money. And I was I had to think about it for a second because you solve a bunch of things with that, and
for one season.
For one season, exactly. Well, yeah, that would be if you wanted to, if you think that's the missing piece, that's your last move. Or that you can keep him and there's a situation there, but that's what I'm saying. Those are those are kind of the realistic moves you can make. It's not as again, I've seen on one of my recaps of the game, I've seen a comment on Facebook basically just again playing video games bring this person, yeah, sure, well, let's bring Kevin Durant when Nets waive him in the middle of a season so he signs for a minimum deal. Just stuff like that. You're it's not going to happen. So
that does happen even in NBA 2K unless you're cheating.
Yeah,
so.
Well, that too. Yeah, exactly.
I like to cheat in NBA 2K. Sorry, guys. Okay, so before we let you enjoy this Sunday, I bet you thought I would mess up the day.
Almost.
So please, I almost did. Please consider subscribing to the DNVR Sports YouTube channel and giving a thumbs up on the YouTube video, or give a 5-star review for the DNVR Nuggets podcast on iTunes. It will help the channel grow even further. Be on the lookout for us making an occasional DraftKings Sportsbook lock of the game on Twitter. We want to help you earn a lot of money with our impeccable takes. Last week, in that Pelicans game, I've got it right on Jokic over points, rebounds, and assists, and also over on AJ's points, but I've let you down telling you to bet on Jamal's over on the assists that he has missed by 1. So I wanted to make a joke about not gambling on Jamal, because of his inconsistency, but I am betting on Jamal. I'm just not using your or my money to do it while betting. So, for all the true fanatics that stuck with us all the way to this sentence, thank you for being awesome, and go Nuggets.
Idemo Nuggets.